Hi, I'm going to talk about how I made my persuasive podcast outline with the resources that you also have. So I started with my persuasive planning. That looks like this, and it's in my notebook, but I'm going to show it to you on my screen as we keep going. And I've completed my research organizer as well. So I'm going to start with my introduction and use my notebook stuff right here, mostly the pasta square. So I introduced myself and my topic and how I'm connected to that topic. So it's the speaker. So I'm going to my persuasive planner. Here's my topic, getting fentanyl off campus. And then I'm going to me as a speaker. Who am I and how am I connected to that topic? So I finished that one. Hi, I'm me. This is my topic and this is how I'm connected to it. So now I'm going to state my purpose. Going back to my persuasive planner, what's my purpose? Why am I writing? And I'm going to rephrase that here. I'm here today because, and this is my purpose of my podcast. And I'm going to call out my audience. So back to my persuasive planner again. Who's my audience? Teachers, students, districts. I'm going to write that into a full sentence. Today I'm talking to these people about, and then my argument. I use the phrase bottom line. And you can also. So back to my persuasive planner, what's my argument? Bottom line, students should not have access, and bottom line, students should not have access. So I have my introduction already done with my persuasive planner. Then I'm going to go to my two reasons. So for my persuasive planner, I had 3 reasons, and you should too. 1, 2, 3 reasons why your topic needs to change. So I actually combined 2 of my reasons and I rephrased them. So I took dangerous and overlooked as my first reason, potty paragraph, and then I kind of put damaging lifestyle and acceptable culture together to create my second. So I did reason 1, distribution is overlooked and dangerous, and reason 2, students it's an acceptable culture and it's damaging. I also used a transition. So this is where we're going to start using the resources. So I had my 2 reasons come from my persuasive planning, but then I looked at my transitions list and I wrote to begin with. I used to begin with first, and then I used similarly second or subsequently. So all my transitions are yellow. So I use 2 transitions with my reason statements. Now all my research comes into play. So 1 quote with an explanation, integrating the evidence, and an explanation of how it's connected. So now I'm going to use my they say, I say frames. So everything that's blue on my example is one of the frames that comes from the they say, I say templates. So I'm going to go to my research. I'm going to find the best quotes to support those reasons. So I thought the best quote to support the reason use and distribution of fentanyl is overlooked came from the article, Susan Schaefer in the article, The Danger of Fentanyl Claims. So I found the quote, used the frame, put the quote information in. The next thing I do is the central claim of that article. So if I look at my thing, I have this article, the title, I use the central claim, and I'm using this quote. So I just copy and pasted that in. So I'm going to actually do this for you. I need one more quote here. I'm going to go and I've done the rest, and I have my transitions and I have my sentence frames from the resources, but I'm going to do this with you right now. So I'm going to choose a transition. And I'm going to use likewise as my transition. Then I'm going to use the frame. I already know what quote I'm going to use. I'm going to use X believes that. And so X is the writer. So I'm going to go, let me look up the writer. Okay, now I have the correct information. So I have the writer and I have the central claim. I'm going to put those together. So mine was X believes that. So I'm going to do my writer believes that. And I have already done all the work. So I'm going to go copy and paste the central claim right there. And then, public. Then I'm going to use the quote. So I'm going back to my frames. And I'm going to say in Steinberg's view and do the quote. And then I just need to copy and paste the quote that I chose right there. And now I explain. So this is my transition in yellow. This is my frame for the central quote, or for the central claim. And this is my frame for the quote. And now I'm going to explain it back to my frames. And I'm going to say, basically, Steinberg is saying, and then I need my quote connection to how my argument is connected to that quote. So I did all of my work already. I just had to organize it together. Basically, X is saying, and if you look at my research organizer, and if you look at my paragraphs, that's what I do. I use the frames and I copy and paste the different parts of the organizer in where it makes sense to organize my support for these reasons. So I have 2 paragraphs like that. Then I take one last frame. So I go down to establishing why your claim matters, my conclusion. I used ultimately what is at stake here. I like this one too. My description of topic is, so I used ultimately what is stake here. One last time back at my persuasive planner, and this is your call to action. What do people need to actually do to change this now that they've been persuaded? And this is the purpose of your thing. So what do people need to do? I read on my persuasive planner, they need to go to the school board and demand change. So they need to go to the school board meetings. So I described what people need to actually do in order for real change to happen. And that is how I used my persuasive planner and my research organizer to complete this podcast outline. Thank you so much. Bye.